What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today in our Miami Dolphins online user franchise. It is officially the playoffs, but this will be the stats and awards for the year of 2023, the third season of the franchise. Of course, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't feel like we've done well enough to win many awards, if any. We just didn't really have that great of a season. We had a lot of above average seasons, but no one player kind of went above and beyond like, Fuller did last year with his 24 touchdowns, literally an NFL record. Didn't even know that until we actually broke it. Thankfully we didn't, beat it by 1 billion touchdowns. But yeah, this season, a lot of interceptions from Tua, some injuries on the defensive line. We did have, once again, pretty good seasons. Ward had a really good season. Red won a couple of guys, but once again, you typically need one of those seasons where they take away all the picks from your other teammates, whereas we had a lot of guys with good seasons receiving, a lot of good seasons intercepting. The running back we didn't really do super well with. Wide receiver we had a bunch of guys do well rather than one go way above and beyond. So enough of that, though. We're going to be taking a look at the stats real quick. Let's take a look at our season specifically. So we were third in yards, but you can see here a lot of interceptions. Cole McDonald, a bunch of interceptions in that game we played against the Titans. 42 touchdowns. I mean, it's still a positive touchdown to pick ratio, but it's still the worst season we've had with Tua. The more abilities the man gets, the more interceptions we throw. It's just wild. But it also is because the league, as time goes on, the cornerbacks and the players keep getting better. 11 sacks in year one, doubled in year two, and then, added a few more in year three. What about the completion percentage? I think that even was down. I think we were 70 and 71% completion percentage. I know, 68, 70, back down to 68. Yards per attempt were up there, but not even as good as last year. We're looking at rushing, way worse than last year, obviously. Let's take a look at running. Elijah Mitchell, good yards per carry, but not really when you consider the league average. And, of course, just down in general, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, nearing 20 touchdowns each season, and then this year is just really, really low. Broken tackles, that's just a flawed stat, but sure. Even the receiving numbers for Mitchell were low. Puka, I don't know how that compares, but that's probably the most he's had for us, right? No, it's not. Even Puka, he had more touchdowns, but that's just, an anomaly. That just happens. Receiving was less other than year one. It just wasn't a season where we really did much on the ground. Receiving yards were pretty good. Passing yards were pretty good, but the touchdowns were down a little bit. 14 touchdowns for Waddle, 14 for Fuller, 54 catches for 1,503 yards. Probably his most yards for us, right? Yeah, by a lot. A pretty good season for Waddle. He took a step forward, although I think he got injured for several weeks. Yeah, he only played 14 games, so realistically, he missed 4 games to, start realistically. And then for Will Fuller, this is easily his worst season, not even close. Maybe not even close. He had a pretty good yards per catch season. Just the touchdowns were a lot lower than year one and then way lower than year two. Obviously, last year was amazing. Donovan Peoples-Jones, another pretty good year. Once again, he's just kind of a product of the other two. Still a down year compared to last year, but less sim seasons this year for us, or sim games. He had a lot of really big games in sim last season, which definitely helped him out a lot. He's going to be sticking at superstar. If we find a name that's really fast or, really big and decently fast, maybe he gets replaced. I don't know. He's not set in stone. Gesicki's definitely not set in stone. Once again, another guy that had his worst season by far. This one, the other ones you can make some arguments, but this one's not even close. Worst by far by yards per carry. Worst for touchdowns by far. Rack was way worse. His long was way worse. His run after the catch average was way worse. He was just had a really bad season. It's good, but, considering the league, it's just really bad. Offensive line, Horn, I'm not going to blame him. It is what it is. Tate, pretty good year, though, for the rookie. 6 interceptions, 3 sacks. Of course, we were using a bunch of different players, but he was kind of the guy we gravitated towards the most. Baker, down year, obviously, but, Tate was kind of like the number one man on campus. Redwine, 9 interceptions. I don't know what his, yearly usual is 0 for us last year because he just didn't play, and they jumped to 9. His last year as a Jet, or his only year as a Jet, actually, 9 interceptions as well. So the man has big play potential, Byron Jones, only 2 interceptions in the year. That is just low. He had 8 for us first year, 5 last year, 2 this year. Once again, maybe he's not always getting thrown at, but still, Holland's interceptions were way down. He still played really well, but 5 interceptions compared to last year's 8. Howard, he's been pretty much on a roll. It still is a down year. Went from 13 to 9. This man has got a lot of career interceptions though. 10 in real life, obviously, in 2020. 8 in his first year for us. 13 for us in year 2, and then 9, obviously. Very good numbers for a cornerback. Any other numbers? Ward, the rookie, 8 interceptions. He's an 82 overall. Trying to get him, I believe, it's slot, right? Medium, right? Yeah, so slot is absolutely the one you want to upgrade first, but you can see he's 3 behind. There's just no chance that's going to happen. John Franklin Myers, up year considering, but down in a way from his first year because, once again, I mean, he got a lot of his bulk in, a couple of games, but he's a very good player, especially if you use him. Davenport, I'm not going to blame him for the numbers because 2.5 does suck. He really did nothing for the Saints in his entire career. 2.5 does suck, but I will say he did give us a pretty big boost. He actually is an okay pass rusher. He's just not getting there in time because, once again, it's very hard in the league in general to get sacks, but especially when he doesn't have any abilities. It's going to be tougher, but overall, pretty good interception totals for sure. Forced fumbles, can't imagine there'd be a lot of those. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That actually might be halfway decent. 14, and we recovered more than half or about half. Was that 5, 6, 7, 8? Kicking. Jason Sanders had himself a really good year, 100% kicking, missed 1 extra point. That was it. Townsend, pretty low, but a lot of the punts have been kind of like angled kind of punts, just trying to avoid a return. Raymond Jennings, speaking of avoiding returns, don't avoid returns with him because he's actually pretty decent. Maybe even could have given him a chance at wide receiver this year. Not you, Sammy. I want to see Raymond Jennings. He's actually really good. We just didn't really need to use him. Of course, I don't really want to use a guy from scratch that only has run after the catch. It's literally the worst trait. So, I mean, he has potential, but there's just a few little things that, kind of deterred us from using him, which, I think is fair enough anyways. But let's take a look at the entire league for these ratings now. Josh Allen with the most yards, probably the most touchdowns. No, it is not. It's Trevor Lawrence tying the record. Man, people love tying that record. I think we've tied it twice. There's a tie right there. It's just absolutely insane. Josh Allen, like I said, 54 for Lamar, 53 for Love. Kenny Pickett, 50. A bunch of different, high touchdown numbers. We, once again, did not really play that well. Anthony Brown with 49 picks thrown. Some really rough numbers in here. What else do we have? So we really did put up a pretty bad season. I mean, you look at the comparison. Outside of maybe Herbert, there are a lot of quarterbacks with good ratings. Like even Baker Mayfield, who we have to play now, he's got really good ratings. I mean, look at that. Like that's 20 times better than Tua just because he's a right-handed quarterback and he's got that throw power. But yeah, I mean, it still just wasn't a good season. Definitely not proud of the season we had, but it is what it is. Rushing, Pollard got himself in a few couple situations, some suspended situations, had a chance at MVP, but I don't think he's going to get it. It's a good season, but not a great one. I will say the rushing numbers in general did kind of seem low. Like, what is that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys on the 1,000-yard list. I think our run block sliders are actually pretty decent right now. You could still, if you really wanted to be, like, super cheesy with it, you really wanted to win, you could probably still run dives and get away with it most of the game, but yeah, I mean, I think the sliders are actually pretty decent. Once again, yards per carry wise, I don't think Mitchell's even close to the top. As far as the ones that you would say are like most eligible, Gibson, don't know why he maybe got injured actually, because that's like 6 games missed. Looked like he was going to be the best running back in the league based on those early numbers. Pollard obviously pretty good at 6.7. McCaffrey with jukebox, or is it evasive? Might even be evasive. Bigsby super fast. Nick Chubb super good. Henry just OP as hell. I mean, below, like kind of middle of the pack in the league with Mitchell, maybe even a little bit lower than middle of the pack, but it was an okay season. Waddle, 4th in yards, but you look at the catch difference. I mean, he had almost half of what, or like a little less than half of A.J. Brown's catches, and he only missed him by 100 yards, same touchdowns. I mean, the yards per reception is like doubled. You can tell the big thing with this yards per catch thing is is obviously just the fact that they're super fast. Don't think Waddle's going to get to X Factor, but once again, I'm not really even worried about it. A couple of youngsters up on the top for touchdowns, obviously. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of high catch season players. Bunch of tight ends up here for like I said when I was talking about Gesicki having a down year, a pretty bad year. He wouldn't even be like the middle of the pack tight end. It's not like he's not good. It's just I want somebody that can stretch the field if I can't get a guy that's going to jump also. Like what is even the point? Run after the catch. Some pretty good players there. We got to get Waddle involved more, though. Like, good run after the catch, but it should be way higher with the abilities he has. Some long catches. Who played the most downs? Jeez. Over 1,000. Like, where is Waddle on this list? Bruh, how do people play over 1,000? Where's, it is tight ends are, like, obviously going to play a little bit more in general, but even then, 843, I mean, that's just some bad defense, to be honest with you. What are we looking for offensive lineman-wise? The most sacks allowed. Havenstein, once again, it's really hard to pay attention to these numbers because, it's typically tackles that are going to, give up the most sacks. Sack total, speaking of, TJ Watt, I don't know if he's actually the number one because, once again, sometimes the numbers don't always show. Really good season here for the rookie. I mean, he's probably going to be in Rookie of the Year, to be honest, but lots of blitzes. Our highest guy was 9. Oh, my. We're probably going to be adjusting the sliders a little bit as well for pass blocking because, yeah, it's really hard to get to the quarterback right now at the moment. But looking at Redwine's numbers, I mean, like the fifth best. Oh, he's a strong safety. I didn't even think about that. He is going to probably be a Pro Bowler because obviously he's been our strong safety, and most of the guys with high picks are all free safeties. That's kind of clutch. That's pretty cool, actually. Don't really care too much about any of the other numbers. Tackles for loss, 21. Most tackles, Chris Barnes. Obviously, that's an AI. Touchdowns, 4 for Derwin Jackson. Derwin James. Who the hell is Derwin Jackson? Ward had 3 interceptions for touchdowns. There are 3 touchdowns. I know one for a fact was a recovery for a fumble. Looking at the kicking. Number 1. He's on the other side, though. That guy probably won Kicker of the Year, right? I think we're going to win Kicker of the Year on our side, though. I mean, that's just a near-perfect season. Yards per punt. Actually, what was the longest? I always like looking at. There's a lot of long kicks. 62 for a few players. What was our guy's longest kick? 57. I mean, he ain't got that type of leg. He's got a good one, not that type of leg. Holy crap, 2,000 return yards. Jakeem, why'd you leave? It's like, because you didn't pay me, idiot. It's like, yeah, I know I didn't pay you, but it's not my fault, okay? It is my fault, but still. Who are the most touchdowns? So, Storm is, I believe, a starting cornerback who does have return man or whatever. So, I mean, in fairness, he's using an ability that he can't reroll. 3 touchdowns on the season. Maybe it's not as bad as of ability as he says it is. I don't know. I'm just saying. But here it is. The yearly award. If I had to guess who MVP would be, I would say Trevor Lawrence, right? Maybe Josh Allen, but Trevor Lawrence more than likely. Let us see it. And no, Trevor dropped to 3. Of course, I believe he did sit him week 17. It's week 18, isn't it? Due to like trying not to get him injured, which is really smart. Josh Allen wins MVP. Tony Pollard. We're also, I believe, thinking about getting rid of Escape Artist and Gunslinger because it's just so broken. So, I mean, that'd be kind of a cool thing. Got Coach of the Year, though, which is kind of cool. Offensive Player of the Year, same situation. Were we even on the list? Redwine, number 10, my guy. We'll obviously look at the NFC in a second. Rookie of the Year goes to, I believe, a quarterback to the Bengals or from the Bengals. Traded Burrow year 1, which, once again, you can't blame it because in real life, sure, Joe Burrow is a pretty good quarterback, but in Madden, that throw power is awful, right? That throw power is just terrible. Got a couple of guys in the top tier list of rookies. 2 at number 10. That is by far the lowest rank he has had. Not even going to be a Pro Bowler this year. That's crazy. Jalen Waddle and Fuller, 6 and 8. Offensive line, do we have anyone? We have Linder at 6. I'm thinking Linder could be almost on his way out because, once again, our offensive line is okay, but the speed that he has, which is non-existent, Redwine at number 3, which he's the only guy that's actually a strong safety, so that should be a Pro Bowl, maybe even a dev up. Jason Sanders But yeah, with that speed that Linder has, it's kind of tough for him to, stop some of these speed rushers in the league. Matt Corral on the other side, maybe gets a star development trade, probably should. Isaiah Simmons, Defensive Player of the Year. Duncan Coffey, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Patrick White, the safety, Rookie of the Year on defense. Best quarterback goes to Russell Wilson, another quarterback that could be affected hard by the escape artist removal, assuming we do that. Wide receiver Metcalf, number 1. Absolute freak in the game. David Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins, number 1 and 2. A little surprised Elton's up there. Number 1, 2, and 3 for the D-line. Oh, my. And the craziest part is the number 1 guy of that... no, he is there. I was about to say, I thought Jonathan Allen wasn't there. Yeah, he's the number 1 for sure. That guy is tough to beat. Of course, Eric Stokes, the number 1 DB. And then Graham Gano steals it over Thorpe. What? Did he I did see his name, but I thought Thorpe easily was the better of the two, right? Maybe there's a bunch of extra points missed. Let's take a look. Wow, that is a bit of a disaster. What the hell is that? Maybe it was all short. Oh, in fairness, there's a bunch of short kicks. Even then, dude. No, they bottled it, dude. Thank God that didn't happen on our side. I mean, it's a little bit of XP, I imagine, right? It's got to be something. Of course, actually, we'll take a look at the full stats. So, once again, I mean, our numbers didn't look good because of the turnovers we had, but you can still kind of get a decent glimpse of how effective we were just based on the like offensive yards and all that. So, you can see some of the numbers. We're number 7, which isn't like crazy good, but for touchdowns, passing, some potential future benches could be coming in here as, once again, got to try to be a little more balanced. And there's some teams that are just not caring about running the football at all. Of course, I will say yards-wise, we are probably one of the lower teams, but we do attempt a lot of passes, rushes. We just don't get that much success. We are still developing our offensive line, but I mean, something's got to give, right? Our points per game, we're down by a lot, but our defense got to be pretty good. Yeah, number 4 overall for defense, points allowed, 414, which isn't like the best, but it's all right. Rush defense, we have a bad run defense technically, but because of how much pressure our offense puts on other teams, we don't, what is that called? We don't really get run on as much, right? You can't really run the ball too much when you're getting destroyed. You can see here, some teams with more than double our sack totals. I mean, we just don't have any success. I mean, look at that, 30. With the corners we have, 30. That's crazy. Of course, we do come away with a lot of picks, so, I mean, we don't have high sack numbers, but the fact that we're number 4 on picks maybe just tells you that our opponents are willing to just take the risk more than just take the sack. So, I mean, whatever gets the win, I guess, even though sack numbers are super fun. Penalties. I'd rather have, what is that called? I'd rather have the sack numbers up to get dev ups for those guys because it's a lot harder to just play coverage and win than it is to actually get a little bit of a pass rush. But obviously, that was pretty much the stats and awards. We have a few upgrades. We'll knock those out. And then next episode will be against the Browns, where we hopefully pick up at least 1 win. Deflator, what do we actually want for Baker? Baker's kind of been flying under the radar with some of our younger linebackers getting a little bit more attention. Our block shedding sucks, but I don't want to lose the scheme fit. Oh, why do I care about the scheme fit? I forgot we have that thing where it... please be a good upgrade anyways. That's actually pretty good. We got a block shed and a man in zone, so we kind of got a little bit of everything, which is what we're looking for. Oh, we had less upgrade points than I thought. I only had a couple more. Duncan, once again, run stopping is our biggest need, but the other side of it is the better you can get to the quarterback, the better upgrades you can get, and that is not exactly what I was expecting, but that is a great upgrade, and I'll take it. +2 to block shed from a power move, which technically with the block shedding upgrade gives him 85 block shed, 85 power move, and he's only going to be 24, is it? 24, I believe, so not bad at all. And then Gesicki, get a +5 to speed for me, please. Just even 1+ to speed would be great. No, trucking, though, I'll take. Medium route we'll take. Short route we'll take. Run block power is actually not terrible. One of the better run blockers in the league. Route running's great. I just think we run too many, like, non-OP routes. Like, we need more sharp cutting routes because it doesn't matter how good the route running is. It's really about the route itself, and we just don't allow Gesicki to dominate on that kind of stuff. So maybe it's, if we're not going to get rid of him, maybe it's time to change some of the route combinations with him and just see him dominate. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Once again, like I said, Browns wildcard round. First time we're in the wildcard round this franchise, I believe, this year. So not bad, 2 out of 3 years. So we're kind of in the poverty zone now. We have to play a match first, which I forgot we actually won the division. So we're at home. Once again, I really don't like being at home for these games. There's just something about them that just, I don't know. The away side seems like they have a better chance. It's just strange. But anyways, that's about it. If you guys enjoyed, maybe leave a like, subscribe for new, follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel, PK Plays, and then maybe a stream sometime on Jeromepkr Plays on, or Jeromepkr on twitch.tv/Jeromepkr. That's about it. Thanks for watching. I'll you guys come back for next video. But until next video,